Next up is David Chittick, who's the Director of Pipeline Integrity for TransCanada Pipelines, and he's going to give an industry perspective. Up and down buttons.
Okay. Thank you, Carl. I'm pleased to have this opportunity to talk about the efforts of the pipeline industry and TransCanada specifically in our pursuit of the goal of zero. First, I'll talk a little bit about myself. I've been with TransCanada for almost 30 years, and my last 15 years I've worked in the pipeline technical support and directly in the pipeline integrity management group. So the topics that I'm going to cover today include technology, management systems, and safety culture. These are very important topics that we've heard mentioned quite often today. I'm confident we'll hear more about these topics in the future. These are the aspects by how we will continue to improve our performance. Let's see if I can do this. I thought I'd start with by giving, I'm not sure everybody knows who TransCanada Pipelines is, so I'll just briefly talk to who TransCanada Pipelines is. So TransCanada has been in business in Canada for about 60 years, designing, constructing, operating, and maintaining pipelines. About just over 10 years ago, started to acquire some pipeline systems in the U.S. and have a number of pipeline systems now. The most recent acquisition was the Columbia Pipeline Group, which was just closed on July of this year, and that added 15,000 miles to our asset base. We also built the Keystone Pipeline, put that in operation in 2010, and we've been busy in Mexico building and operating pipelines. So as I talk today, I'm predominantly going to be talking about gas transmission pipelines. The following panelists are going to represent the liquid pipelines. Okay, I'd like to start by referencing the guiding principles that anchor us, and these were developed by the INGA companies, and INGA stands for Intrastate Natural Gas Association of America, represents the vast majority of the operators of gas transmission pipelines, approximately 300,000 miles of pipelines. While these guiding principles were developed a few years ago, they continue to resonate very well today. And our first goal is the goal of zero incidents, a perfect record of safety and reliability. As the Director for Pipe Integrity, I have the good fortune to lead a large contingent of folks that come to work each and every day with the sharp focus of keeping the pipeline safe. While we are pleased with improvements we have achieved in our performance in recent years, we recognize there are opportunities for further improvement, and we are rigorously pursuing those improvements, as I will talk about today. Our second goal is the commitment to a safety culture. There's good recognition of the significance, the importance of safety culture in pursuing improvements in our performance. The guiding principle, I like this, the guiding principle recognizes it's a critical dimension. We recognize we will not be successful in our pursuit if we do not have the right safety culture. Our third goal is we will be relentless in our pursuit of improving. Today, sharing of knowledge from operator to operator is quite common. All operators recognize their shared responsibility to improve and recognize the contributions that sharing of knowledge can make to our pursuits. We heard earlier about AOPL, API, the lessons learned. INGA as well has lessons learned. Operators get together annually and openly talk to the incidents that they have encountered. At TransCanada, we have a formal process to review incidents and identify potential systematic impacts, and we adjust our integrity programs based on those learnings. Today, we now utilize that same process, and we analyze incidents that other operators have had, and we adjust our programs based on the learnings from others. Now, this is an example of an area of improvement in recent years. Our fourth goal is we are committed to applying integrity management principles on a system-wide basis. Current regulations in the U.S. define the requirements for high consequence areas, and operators, appropriately so, are very focused on high consequence areas. But operators are doing more, much more. TransCanada, we apply our integrity management practices across the entire pipeline system, as well as INGA. INGA recently formalized their Integrity Management Continuous Improvement Initiative, and through this initiative, all INGA member companies committed to applying integrity management practices across their entire pipeline systems. As an industry, we are doing more, and we will see the benefits from this in our performance over time. The last goal is the engagement with stakeholders. We've heard a couple times today, mechanical damage is the #1 risk to pipelines, and we're working to enhance our engagement with landowners and contractors, looking to protect people and protect the pipeline. Okay, the next area I'm going to talk about is technology. So, the importance of technologies, how advancements in technology will contribute to our pursuit of zero. Today, we're very fortunate to have the full suite of technologies available that we do have. As an industry, we have always been pursuing improved technologies, and our performance has improved with the improvements that have been realized over the years. A good example is our inline inspection technologies for corrosion. Operators have been utilizing these inspection tools for over 30 years. The vendors for our ILI inspection technologies are very capable and have been in a race to build better tools, and us operators have benefited from these tools, and our performance has improved. Today, most vendors have moved from low-resolution tools to high-resolution tools to super high-resolution tools to ultra-high-resolution tools. And this technology is capable of accurately calling out any corrosion. And the race continues. These technologies are now being extended to call out things like gouges in dents, cracks in girth welds, further developments to follow. Another example, which I've been personally involved with for approximately 15 years, has been the pursuit of an inline inspection technology for cracks in gas pipelines. Our liquid operators have had the benefit of an ultrasonic tool, but for the gas pipelines, we've been limited to managing cracking concerns through hydro testing and direct examination of the pipe. TransCanada recognized the need for a crack inspection tool and partnered with an ILI vendor back in 1998 to develop a technology referred to as EMAT, the Electromagnetic Acoustic Transponder. This development proved to be very challenging, and it took about 12 years to fine-tune the technology. Asking a lot of this technology, the tool travels at about 10 miles an hour along the pipeline. The analogy that's provided is it's passing over a football field. It analyzes every blade of grass in the football field. But along the journey, we had another vendor join the effort, and TransCanada and the two vendors, GE and Rosen, remained committed, making the significant investments needed over the many years to develop and prove out this technology. Today, TransCanada and other vendors, other operators, are benefiting from these developments, and our performance is improving because of these developments. Okay, up on the slide here, I've got a couple examples. I'll just talk to a few of them. The one I'd like to talk about is data management. Alan talked a little bit about big data. I'm not sure I'd quite call it big data, but today a number of operators, including TransCanada, we're building out systems to house and align all the information about our pipeline systems. Most operators currently have GIS systems, and they house the pipe attribute data, structures along the right-of-ways, roads, all the information that's needed today to do risk assessments and identify consequences. We're moving forward here to geospatially align all information along the pipeline. We're aligning all our inline inspection reports, our pipe inspection reports, readings from the CP system, aerial patrols, and our analytical tools are being refined to benefit from the availability of this additional information. Today we have a tool that allows us to align inline inspection reports, corrosion, cracks, calipers, the current report, the past report. We can load in CP data, soils information, all available information. And this allows us to enable an enhanced assessment of the hazards to the pipeline. These are exciting developments, but they're very challenging, multi-year developments, and they will also enable further improvements in our safety performance. The other one I just briefly wanted to talk to is the engineering critical assessments. Alan talked about IVP for grandfathered pipe. Industry's committed that we need to do something with this, the grandfathered pipe that hasn't been previously tested. PHMSA in the current rule is requiring operators to re-verify the MEOP. And PHMSA have identified a number of options for this, including pressure test, pressure reduction, engineering critical assessment, and pipe replacement. I'm very pleased to see the engineering critical assessment option. Can't say enough, I'm very pleased. But I'm concerned about the requirements and the expectations outlined, that they just may be too excessive and may undermine the potential for operators to pursue the ECA approach and fall back on pressure testing. While pressure testing will prove out the integrity of the line, the long-term investment value for safety is low. It is a pass or fail test with limited knowledge gained. In comparison, through the ECA approach, operators would acquire detailed knowledge of their pipelines through an extensive inline inspection and engineering critical assessment. The knowledge gained would prove to be very foundational to the ongoing management of the pipeline. As we look forward, the industry will be investing billions of dollars in re-verifying MEOP. It would be very beneficial to maximize those investments towards gaining the most knowledge of the pipeline, building the foundation. Then talk a little bit about safety management systems. There's been much discussions about safety management systems. I've got a couple comments here. The National Transportation Safety Board has noted that in many instances, safety management systems, lack of effective safety management systems have contributed to incidents. Recently, the reference to the API effort, the NTSB recommended that API develop the standard for safety management systems specific for the pipeline industry. And API worked with the NTSB and PHMSA, the states and industry, to develop the standard, RP 1173. We've heard much about that today. But what do we really mean by a safety management system? I mean, the general intent is to establish processes to systematically collect and analyze data on pipeline safety issues and then evaluate mitigations to resolve the safety concerns before an incident can occur. There have been some discussions that safety management systems are relatively new, and while this is true to the fullest extent, many of the operators have had integrity management plans for many years, and those plans have had the elements. As Alan showed there, even with the 2004 gas rule, there were the elements of risk management and management of change, continuous improvement, performance managing. So, many operators are on the journey to transition their integrity management plans to the fullness of a safety management system. This is a journey, and will take time to work through. TransCanada, we developed our first pipeline integrity management plan back in 1999, based on the guidance provided in the Canadian Oil and Gas Standard, CSA Z662, which at that point contained the non-mandatory annex for guidelines for pipeline system integrity management systems. Okay, I'll talk a little bit about safety culture. So as we highlighted talking about guiding principles, safety culture is recognized as a critical dimension in continuously improving our industry's performance. Getting the right safety culture is just as important as the right technologies and the right safety management systems. So, some comments to do with safety culture. So from the National Transportation Safety Board, safety is a commitment, it is a requirement, it must be a way of doing business and not just a slogan. If companies commit to safety, with the same vigor they pursue profits, then we will see integrity management programs with real integrity. You know, the National Energy Board, in their recent safety forum, a comment was, there's agreement that safety culture plays a significant role in the cause and prevention of accidents, and management systems are an essential complement and driver for genuine corporate safety culture. You know, in Inga comment, safety culture is a journey, it's not a destination, the culture will take time. Culture can be used as a leading indicator and a predicator for the potential for future incidents. Wrapping up here. So the performance for pipelines are improving. You know, these charts, which come from the data at the PHMSA website, you know, illustrate that improvements have been realized in recent years, you know, somewhat significant improvements. And these improvements have come through, I'd say, primarily improvements in technology and some, you know, management system and a bit of safety culture. But, you know, the point we take from this is there's still, yes, they're good reductions, but there's still a fair gap between where we are and where what our goal is. You know, we're confident that we can continue. We've proven that we can improve our performance, and we will continue to improve our performance and close the gap. Oh, sorry, not that quick. This is the slide that I think ties it all together, and you know, it shows the relationship between technology, management systems, improved culture, and the bearing on incident rate and a reference to time. And I think this is meaningful. If I think today we've got the fullness of technology, we're still continuously improving technology. I think we're about 50% there on management systems, still more to go, and we're probably, you know, not 50% there on safety culture, but we know how the three aspects will help us along our journey towards zero. Thank you.